Hey guys, just want to do a real quick one here on how to create a tiled brick or rock or whatever wall from kind of a single sculpted object. So here is my brick. Okay, basically he's however many polygons. I just kind of sculpted it real quick and then went in kind of did a little overview. So what I want to do is set this thing up in order to bake a nice displacement map. I kind of want a height map. If you look at the screen distance, basically something sort of like this is what I want to create, only with the Mudbox displacement map, that we're going to end up using that just like we would use one of these stencils here, and then we'll use that in order to create a tileable texture. So the first thing I'm wanting to do is to go ahead and set this scene up so I can get myself a nice kind of rig or a nice little bake kind of going on. Alright. So the first thing I do is go to create mesh and just give me a plane, just kind of a basic plane that I can work with. And you can tell already this is a heck of a scale difference going on here. That's from where I just modeled a quick cube inside of Maya, and that's how small Maya objects tend to be inside of Mudbox. So the first thing I'm going to do, go to my object list, grab my brick, and let's just go ahead and scale this bad boy up a little bit. Let's just type these in, 50 and then 50. Yeah, that'll work. You know, that'll give us a good kind of scale size, and we can still place multiple bricks on here and still get a good resolution bake. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's just go ahead and duplicate that brick, and then I'm just going to pull it out alongside here. So now I've got two bricks. I'm going to use these two bricks, alright, as a way of starting the stencil. So let's just place these over and then grab my brick 2. And what I want to do with it is let's just rotate it 180 degrees. Alright, so now what I've got, if you look, is I have the first brick, which will look like this, and then I have the second brick, which looks like an entirely different brick. Okay, that's kind of the key here, is you want to just take your one sculpted brick, and since bricks have 6 sides, we could technically make up to 6 different patterns on this one tile. Okay, so take my brick, take these two bricks, let's go ahead and duplicate those and then pull them down. Go back to rotate real quick, and I'll tell you what, let's do 90 degrees on you, and the same here. Let's do a negative 9 degrees on that one. So now we have both the sides going on for that one. Alright, take brick 1, brick 2, go ahead and duplicate them one more time and pull them down, and then let's go back to rotate, and what I'll do is let's just isolate real quick and deselect. There we go. And rotate you this way. Alright, so let's set you back to 0 and say 90 and say 0. So I've now kind of got it standing up on its side. Let's go back to objects and deselect you. So I just got this brick 5, now I want brick 6. Let's rotate it, and what I'm going to do is let's just stand you up, and that's going to be that corner. So let's rotate it around. So I got 90, 90, and 0. So that changed the 3 to a 0, 88 to a 90, and just clean that 90 up a little bit so we have our nice clean snaps. There'll be different angles. Rotate, actually could rotate this back around like so, 180, and so I got different sides going on there. de-isolate it, and then let's go back to objects, grab you, and then what I want to do really is go just to the left view, and then let's go ahead and slide these things down so that everything's about the same height. I can also scale these, change the shape if I wanted to, make them larger, bigger, smaller, whatever the case might be. So what I'm going to do is take my first plane here, and I'm actually going to duplicate it. So what we need now is a target plane. I want to pull it up just so that it's high enough to cover said objects. So this will actually help me with this one. So I can kind of pull that, there we go, to where it disappears, right? Okay, so now I've got a plane, and that's going to be my background plane. So let's just call this big background. Alright, it's going to be kind of my clipping plane. And then we have plane 1, which this is going to be our target plane. Alright, so what we have now is we have a complete setup for doing a raycast transfer. Okay, so what I want to do now is go into under render, and we want to go to extract texture maps. I'm going to go ahead and use my extraction one, or I could use a new operation. And what I want to do is come into displacement map, and we want to add my target plane. That's going to be our target model, and then go ahead and add all for my source models, and then just go ahead and remove the target plane. From here we can just go ahead and use some of our sample settings. One of the coolest part is when it says choose samples, you can come in here and select outside, inside, closest to mesh. It has a really neat way of kind of showing you what these are from this list right here. And we want to really work on from the outside, from what's close to the plane back. You can set your best guess search distance. I think the default kind of is 30. We'll test this, see if that works. I want to generate one map for all our targets. Okay, in this case we only have one target, so it's not going to be that big a deal. Image size 1024. I'm going to go ahead and crank my anti-aliasing all the way up. Hopefully this is going to work pretty well. Normalize the search distance. I've found different results for this, but for the most part I'm going to go ahead and deselect that. Ideally this should give us the background that we're wanting, but we'll come back and mess with that if it doesn't work. Alright, so the next map type I want to output is going to be a texture. Save it as to our base files. Go ahead and pop this in my folder here. Gonna go ahead and save this one. You can do an OpenEXR or whatever. I'm going to just do this for the moment as a TIFF 16-bit, and I'm going to call this one brick displacement bake 01, and give this a shot. I can preview as a bump map, see if it's going to work out okay, and that'll kind of create a material, and go ahead and hit extract. And if everything goes according to plan, this is going to come up and we're going to get our processing going on the side here. I'm going to go ahead and pause. Alright, so extraction finished successfully. Woohoo! Let's see what this looks like. So here is our displacement map. I already loaded it up into Photoshop real quick. If I look into Mudbox, you might be able to see that it's the bump map added to it. Go to layers, paint, and you can see this thing's currently turned on. For whatever reason it's not showing up. But if we go into Photoshop, we'll find that there's one weird thing that keeps happening, and that is it keeps giving this gray border around, and this could be an aggravation for what we're trying to do. But the two key factors here with what we've done is this is a 16-bit image, so it'll reduce the amount of banding that we get with it as a stencil. And the second thing is we have this wonderful black background. Okay, even if I do my dropper here and look at it, you can tell that it is 000. Okay, that's our black background. That's going to keep us from having edges as we use it as a stencil. So I'm just going to kind of come in here, kind of do an arbitrary selection, Just grab this guy and then image crop and then file save. Okay, so this will end up becoming our stencil. We'll load this thing back up in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video here, and when we load up the next one, we're gonna create a tiling plane, use our stencil in order to quickly paint a brick wall.